Fiber art is the result of creatively combining natural or synthetic fibers to produce aesthetically interesting, functional, and artistic objects. The fiber arts include handcrafted embroidery, weaving, basketry, featherwork, knitting, and quilting. Fiber art has been an important art form in most cultures. In ancient Peru, textiles were more valuable than precious metals. In ancient China, nobles were buried with precious silk banners. Islamic artists made richly decorated carpets in India and intricately designed tapestries in Spain. In Canada, the Tlingit make blankets of goat wool and cedar bark. One of the most popular fiber arts in America is quilting. Many different types of textiles are used to make quilts, but cotton is preferred. Quilters choose the colors of their fabrics with great care. Quilt artists work with analogous and contrasting color schemes, as well as warm and cool color palettes. The pattern of the cloth can vary from simple repeated shapes to complex colorful motifs. Quilters use a variety of colored threads, cutting mats, rulers, graph paper, rotary cutters, scissors, and chalk pencils for marking the fabric. The material can be sewn together either by hand or using a sewing machine. There is a wide variety of different types of quilts. Crazy quilts consist of many different sizes and shapes of fabric that are stitched together. Applique quilts are made by sewing cloth shapes to a fabric background. The appliques are often colorful and typically form a picture, such as a basket of flowers or an animal. Patchwork quilts are formed by joining basic shapes of cloth together into larger blocks to form a pattern or picture. The blocks are stitched together individually or in rows. The pieces are then joined to form the top layer of the quilt. Patchwork quilts are created using an endless variety of patterns. Small squares form traditional quilt patterns, such as the 4-patch, 9-patch, or checkerboard. Rectangles form patterns such as the log cabin and center diamonds. Triangles can be used to create stars, flying geese, or a flower basket. Lone Star, tumbling block, and chain star designs can be created using diamonds. Traditional designs such as the Ohio Star, Bear's Paw, Schoolhouse, and cabin windows are patterns that use multiple shapes. There are also many possible arrangements for a quilt pattern. Quilters may use one large image in the center to form a medallion. A quilt in which each block is unique is called a sampler quilt. Art quilts do not follow a defined pattern. The pieced fabric can form a large image such as a landscape or an abstract design. Embellishments such as beading or embroidery can add a unique touch to a quilt. A completed quilt top is layered with a fluffy material called batting and a backing for warmth. A quilter layers the top, batting, and backing and bastes them together using either a needle and thread or safety pins. This ensures that no layer slips while the piece is quilted. Quilting refers to the process of combining the layers by stitching them together by hand or machine. The stitches can consist of simple lines or complex patterns. If the quilt is to be sewn by hand, it is fastened into a hoop or a frame. A skilled hand quilter can create consistently spaced stitches and intricate designs. Long-arm quilting machines enable the quilter to work on large portions at a time. Alternatively, a common sewing machine can be used. There is a wide variety of quilting motifs and patterns. The stitch marks can be the primary design element or enhance the visual look of a patchwork, applique, or art quilt. In the final stage, called binding, long strips of fabric are used to form a border around the design and finish the edges neatly. Many quilters will add a label, stitched or written onto the artwork to identify its maker and date. Quilting, like many fiber arts, need not be a solitary endeavor. Quilting bees and clubs bring artists together to work and socialize. Shows and competitions allow appreciative crowds to view the finished works of art. Galleries and museums often have quilt collections and increasingly hold exhibitions of quilts and other fiber artworks. These events recognize that an item originally designed for everyday personal use can also be a unique work of art worthy of display. Knitting is another fiber art form that has traditional roots and is often viewed as a domestic activity. In recent times, however, contemporary knitters have taken their craft out of the home and onto the streets as part of a movement called guerrilla knitting. Guerrilla knitters dress a variety of objects, often in large urban spaces, in colorfully designed knitting. Their chosen canvases range from school buses to parking meters. Installing the traditional art of knitting outdoors in unexpected places makes viewers reconsider and appreciate their daily surroundings. Fiber art objects can often have personal significance. Quilts may be passed down through families, and items of clothing worn by the individual are used to express character and to enhance a person's appearance. Clothing can hold social significance as well. African textile artists make costumes that are an integral part of ritual group performances. Japanese weavers work with dyed silk threads that reflect the colors of the seasons to create beautiful kimonos. Other artworks show us the elaborate clothing worn in 15th century Europe, 18th century China, and 18th century France. Clothes have been used in many cultures as indicators of wealth and social status. The careful preservation of fiber art techniques and artifacts over hundreds of years and the continuing popularity of the medium today tell us that this is an art form held in high esteem by its makers, users, and viewers.